There is reportedly frustration within WWE over the confusion over the new title bouts presented to Roman Reigns and Asuka in recent weeks on SmackDown. Details on that, plus the Women's Tag Team Championships are set to be unified soon, with the main roster titles to be unified with the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. Carmelo Hayes talks his appearance on SmackDown this week and challenges Baron Corbin, plus Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio are set to face off in a first time ever match stipulation next weekend on Father's Day. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of World Wrestling Entertainment. Let's start off talking about these new titles in WWE and the confusion and discourse surrounding them. So, obviously, let's start off first with Asuka. Fortunately for Asuka, the reports were true. On Friday's episode of SmackDown, the authority figure himself, Adam Pearce, presented the Empress of Tomorrow with a brand new WWE Women's Championship bout, replacing the Raw Women's Championship that she won from Bianca Belair at Night of Champions. Unfortunately for Asuka, however, the reports were true, because before Pearce could even buckle the belt around Asuka's waist, she was confronted by a returning Charlotte Flair, who informed Pearce that she had no intention of waiting in line for a title shot and challenged Asuka to a championship match, which has immediately been accepted. The appearance marked Flair's return to WWE programming after a 2-month hiatus. She was last seen on the losing end of the SmackDown Women's Championship match to Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania 39. Asuka's acceptance of Flair's challenge potentially sets up the 4th televised championship singles match between the two women, with Flair currently holding a 2-1 advantage. There have been 11 total singles matches between them, 6 won by Flair, 5 won by Asuka. It also puts Pearce in a bind, as earlier on in the broadcast he had promised Belair a rematch for the title, while Pearce had mentioned in a backstage segment that Asuka versus Charlotte could occur the night of the June 30 episode of SmackDown, which is the night before Money in the Bank. It's also possible that WWE is ultimately setting up a triple threat involving Bianca Belair and the two aforementioned women. Now, of course, this is the second championship presentation we've seen in recent weeks on SmackDown, but it's led to a lot of confusion and frustration as well. WWE has been introducing new championship titles in recent weeks in an attempt to streamline the brand-specific titles following the 2023 WWE draft. The draft saw Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair be drafted to SmackDown, while the SmackDown Women's Champion Rhea Ripley was drafted to Raw. The streamlining of the titles led to the new World Heavyweight Championship being introduced on Raw, while Roman Reigns' undisputed WWE Universal Championship became one title over on SmackDown. Most recently on this week's SmackDown, as I mentioned, WWE presented Asuka with a new WWE Women's Championship in place of a Raw Women's Championship. Asuka's new title looks the same as Roman's, which is done as a way to make the titles feel at the same level, and also features the word undisputed on the front plate, despite there being two championships and definitely not being undisputed. As people would say, when there are two championships, they're very much disputed and they're not undisputed. Now, in an update from Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, the misuse of the term undisputed has been a point of frustration within WWE, with Roman's championship being referred to as undisputed in name, despite Seth Rollins also being a world champion, and Asuka's championship featuring the word on the front of the title, despite Rhea Ripley also being a champion. On the situation, one WWE higher-up said that's admittedly confusing and saying that they don't know why there is an insistence on doing that, and a lot of people have brought that up and it's been dismissed. The report also notes that Rhea Ripley's championship is also set to receive some form of adjustment, whether in terms of design or simply a renaming, that's not yet known. So what are your thoughts on the use of the term undisputed, the frustration and confusion surrounding it? Let me know your thoughts about that in the comment section below. Certainly a lot of people talking about it. Now, WWE, as mentioned, introduced a new undisputed WWE Universal Championship to celebrate 1,000 days of Roman Reigns' Universal Championship run on the June 2nd episode of SmackDown. Prior to that show, Roman was still carrying the physical WWE and Universal Championships while still defending them as one singular entity. Now, with the title now one single championship and Roman's 1,000-day run coming with the Universal Championship, fans have been concerned regarding the future of the lineage of the WWE Championship that dates back all the way to the 1960s. While being listed as the undisputed WWE Universal Champion on WWE.com, both WWE and Universal Championship lineages are listed alongside Roman Reigns and are both still listed as active championships. Per Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, a source within the company claimed to Fightful that the lineages of the two championships are still separate, despite Reigns possessing just one championship, which again is very confusing. However, the source noted that they believe the WWE Championship's lineage will be continued once Roman drops the championship, whenever that moment happens. Again, this is just another notch and another aspect to the confusion surrounding the new championships being introduced and terminology surrounding them. Now, when it comes to Asuka and the Raw Women's Championship lineage, that's also part of it as well. When Seth Rollins won the World Heavyweight Championship, fans had questioned whether or not the lineage of that title will follow that of the former World Heavyweight Championship that was retired in 2013. As it turns out, that title began a whole new lineage, with Rollins being officially recognized as the first champion. On this week's SmackDown, WWE fixed their problem regarding Women's Championships, at least partially, when Asuka ditched the Raw Women's Championship in favor of the new WWE Women's Championship. With the new title's introduction, fans had wondered whether the title would continue the Raw Women's Championship lineage or begin a new lineage with Asuka as the champion. Well, per WWE.com, the championship is listed as the WWE Women's Championship, but continues the lineage of the Raw Women's Championship rather than starting a new one. Asuka, as I mentioned, will make her first defense of the WWE Women's Championship on the SmackDown in London in 3 weeks, taking on Charlotte Flair, who returned on this week's show. The status of Rhea Ripley's SmackDown Women's Championship, of course she's a member of the Raw roster, has not been addressed, but of course that could be happening this coming weekend, or this coming Monday rather, tomorrow. Now, Asuka has actually hit back at the criticism of the new Women's Championship. The championship themselves, not just Asuka's Women's Championship, but also the undisputed WWE Universal Championship bout, has received some backlash online from fans who believe the titles lack creativity and are pretty uninspired, while others simply think the titles just don't look that good. Well, taking to Twitter this weekend, Asuka responded to those fans who think her championship looks terrible, firing back at their own fashion sense. She writes, quote, "I would like to see the fashion sense of the people who says my bout design is terrible. If they have bad fashion sense, I despise them." So Asuka defending the titles, but what are your thoughts on the designs of the Women's Championship and the undisputed WWE Universal Championship? Do they lack creativity? Are they uninspiring? Can you understand why they do it for branding and marketing purposes? Let me know your thoughts, as always, in the comment section below. Let's talk about the Women's Tag Team Championships, because again, there's a lot going on with titles right now in WWE. Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey are hungry for gold, and now they've got their sights set on Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. Friday night on SmackDown, WWE announced a match to unify the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship and the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships after Baszler and Rousey confronted reigning NXT champions Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. As Fire and Dawn were being introduced to the crowd, they were immediately interrupted by the newest WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. Baszler questioned their knowledge of the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship history and claimed the titles only exist because of her, after which Rousey claimed the division wasn't big enough for them and demanded a shot at the NXT Tag Team Gold as well. Fire and Dawn were quick to accept the challenge before throwing the first shots and coming out on top in the ensuing brawl. The match, which was later announced for the June 23rd episode of SmackDown, seems likely to answer questions many fans have had since the WWE draft about the status of the NXT Women's Tag Team title bouts, with Fire and Dawn being called up to the main roster. After 2 years of existence and 12 total reigns, it's possible that Fire and Dawn will go down as the final NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. Now, in a bit of an update on the rationale reasoning behind this, according to a new report from Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, the decision to unify the WWE Women's Tag Team titles and the NXT Women's Tag Team titles was not a hasty one. Per their sources, there had been plans to unify the two pairs of titles, resuming their original intention of the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships as eligible to be defended on any brand, including NXT. While the unification had been planned as far back as April, it did not move forward after a series series of unfortunate injuries. On this week's SmackDown, in an in-ring segment by the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, they were interrupted by Rousey and Baszler, which has led to this championship unification match. So who do you think wins this one, and do you think this is the right move to unify the Women's Tag Team Championships within WWE? Let me know your thoughts about that. Plus, Carmelo Hayes, it wasn't the only NXT influence on the show. The NXT champion himself was actually on Friday's broadcast on Fox. NXT champion Carmelo Hayes has commented on his appearance on the June 9 edition of Friday Night SmackDown. On the show, Hayes and Trick Williams showed up to watch Baron Corbin's Money in the Bank qualifying match against Butch. Butch ultimately picked up the victory, rolling Corbin up as he yelled at Hayes at ringside. Corbin then got physical with Hayes and Williams as the trio had to be separated by referees and officials. This all comes after Corbin attacked Hayes and beat him down on the May 30 edition of NXT, indicating that the free agent will be the next NXT Championship challenger. WWE NXT has shared a new video catching up with Carmelo Hayes backstage following his SmackDown appearance. Hayes stated that he's now 100% and called for Corbin to meet him on Tuesday's episode of NXT on USA Network. Corbin is already set to appear on the show. The free agent is set to face off against Ilya Dragunov in singles action. So we're going to get more of Carmelo Hayes and Baron Corbin seemingly in NXT, and it looks like that is going to be the next NXT Championship feud. Would you like to see Baron Corbin be the NXT champion, or is this just a method to get Carmelo Hayes over and prepare him for a future main roster run? Finally, this is quite an interesting and I suppose fun story. WWE is set to host a new stipulation match at a live event on Father's Day next weekend. The rivalry between Rey Mysterio and his son Dominic Mysterio has taken over WWE television in 2023, with Rey defeating his son in their match at WrestleMania 39. While Rey and Dominic have been drafted to separate shows in the 2023 WWE Draft, WWE is holding a live event on Father's Day this year, so naturally the feud is coming back to the forefront. Per PW Insider, WWE is holding a live event in Charleston, West Virginia on Father's Day, that being June 18, which will feature Rey Mysterio versus Dominic Mysterio in the first ever Father's Day street fight. Other matches set for the live event are the World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins versus The Miz, the Undisputed Tag Team Champions Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the Viking Raiders, the SmackDown Women's Champion Rhea Ripley versus Natalya, Intercontinental Champion Gunther versus Matt Riddle and Shinsuke Nakamura. Also, other names advertised for the show are Becky Lynch, Bayley and the Usos. Of course, Dominic Mysterio was part of a Miz TV segment with the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes on this week's episode of Raw, actually slapping the former Intercontinental Champion, possibly setting up a match between the two for a future episode of Monday Night Raw as well. So there you go, guys. It's the latest WWE news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe bottom right hand corner. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak with you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.